wants to share whatever they think of what you're going to share with us, then they are more than welcome to request and then tell you what they think. Okay, but just bear in mind that you are safe. In terms, no judgment. Okay, because we're trying to help each other here. So you can tell us what your situation is, and then I'll give you my. I believe by now you know that I'm one person who's big on honest opinions, right? Even though it's not nice. So I hope you're ready for that.
I'm not laughing.
Yeah, so that's just me, Yeah, so you can tell us what your situation is and then we'll tell you what we think. Hello, darling.
Offense, ne?
Yes.
Offense, before Paula, ne? Hello?
Yes, we are here.
Yeah, before okay, my network is bad, it's fine.
Okay. You wanted to say something, Palisa?
My network, I think it's
Yeah. Yeah, Bambe, yeah. But I can hear you now. Okay, I think maybe Offenza will have to speak without Palisa having to say what she has to say if the network is really bad, because I see she has muted herself now. So, unless if maybe whatever it is that she wanted to share with you was going to help us before you share your story. Palisa, going once.
I'm back.
Welcome
I'm back.
back.
Yes,
Welcome
sorry.
back.
Before Offense just to Offense. Okay, now I'm not a psychologist, and I believe Lee, as much as perseverance is like she gives feedback. And feedback high, she's got tough love for everyone. I'm assuming happily enough she's not a psychologist. However, I just want to give you a heads up, or rather a tip. Let me just give you a claps. Let me say claps, for you, Jorge. You're a bit worried, concerned, maybe I might have. Therefore, I'm coming to this platform to seek assistance. That's something big. That's something that not everyone, anyone would just accept, especially the narcissists, because majority of them are in denial. And last week, 2 weeks back, we spoke in your life, perseverance, and you mentioned childhood trauma. Now, personally, I believe, Jorge, most of the people that have the narcissist disorder, it's because of the childhood trauma. Talking about, I suspect now baby daddy had it because of how he grew up, finding out from abantu bakubo and friends and people that he knew. They would say he was a black sheep of the family. So that does affect. And when you grow up, it's not, I believe it's not something that anyone would wish to have, but they would want to see the right out of them. Everyone wants to consider them doing everything right. If I curse or rather I do something at perseverance, then at the end of the day, even to I don't want to accept it. I want to be right, and perseverance or right at that moment, but I don't want her to be right. I want to get the spotlight. So I think it's because of the trauma, and if a person would look into that, you would say, how was my upbringing, my environment, not only at home, but society-wise? Was I bullied? How was I? Was I a person who accept failure and understand that failure is not the end of the world, or being mistreated, it's not the end of the world? So I think most of them, they don't want to accept. They didn't accept, and when they grow up, honestly, this saying, we always call it power hungry. And power hungry, there's no such thing. Now I don't believe in such thing as power hungry. That's when narcissists come in.
Yes, Palisanem, I feel like really what you are sharing now would really work if you shared it after Offensa has already spoken. Because I honestly feel like you are way ahead of her with what you are sharing with us. And I know that it comes from a good place, because you really just want to prepare for that, so that she knows that, it's okay and we understand and these things are happening. But I feel like it's going to take away from how she wants to share her story. Like, you get me? Yeah, so let's allow her to share it how she wants to share it. and then definitely we'll come back, because I agree with you with everything that you have said. Not to a certain degree, I believe that everybody has traumas, even though they're not, some of them are not as excruciating for other people as they are for others, you know, in as much as we always do things to protect our kids now that we have kids, but there are certain things that we can't always protect them from. So when they grow older, there's going to be, you know, I once had this traumatic experience in school or somewhere at the taxi rank or somewhere here and there, you know. So somewhere, somehow, we all have things. But I think the difference then comes in when we have to deal with the issues that we have growing up. Because remember, there's a certain age where you are just collecting. And when you grow older, now you start manifesting the things that you've been collecting. So we're going to get to that. And I'm going to get to you having to share whatever you think afterwards. But let's have Ufense share her story first without us having to, you know, dilute it.
Can I go there?
Yes, you may speak, my darling.
Okay, na ke na le ngwana o na le 2 years and 7 months.
Okay.
But ke mo tloile papa hae.
Okay.
Like, okay, ko mathomong ne. We dated, I think it was 2013 ne. So we broke up.
Okay.
Like ne ke sana le bo ngwana bo la man. High school fever, ke re wa tlhalohanya o sanya go boniwa high school fever.
Yeah.
So we broke up. Ra se tlhola re kopana. And then 2019 ra bolela hape. And then ra bolela then ra utlwana and all that. But then problem ya hae ke horeng o na le maaka. You understand? So we would plan things together. Or okay, how about when o be tšhelete for dilo tse di tlo benefitang wena? Understand? And then yena I can't network.
Yes, we can hear you.
And then yena a be le dilo tsa gore ya ka e be ya tšhelete come December tšhelete ka wetse nna ne ke na le ko hae na banyaka wa tlhaloganya. So dilo tse beone di mbora.
Yeah.
Who fisa to a point where I felt pregnant ne. It was December ka mmotsa ke pregnant, it was fine. Ne ke kry-a tšhelete NSFAS. Na wa bereka yena. So ke re kwa ena ke re how o ka khona be ya bokae, like ke mo fe pressure o ka khona be ya bokae. Then a re mo nna ra o nka khona be ya 1,000 rand. Then I said okay, it's fine. Then because nna ke kry-a bokae 2.8 a month, nka khona be ya 2,000 because ke nna ko hae ba nkere everything ko hae. Okay, fine. Nna ke be ya tšhelete on my side. Yeah, like every month ha ke mo founela re bolela like o beile tšhelete wetse ke tlo deposita yona no. Wetse nna ke shapo sa wara bona tlo ba shapo ka ngwana a fihla motho nana le 1,000 rand on top of from December till August. Tšhelete o ira hetseng now it's eng nana ke na le mabaka re bolela ka mothanang bjala le mothatsubang. Okay, fine. From that day the feelings tsa ka di a fela, like fela to a point where a ke sanya go rantshware a ke sanya go re selo, but then a re pushe for ngwana. You understand? So ke botsa batho ba like ke botsa ba ausa gore yo wetse ke nna I'm going through these things. Ko bona le thuseng like motho nna ke sa monyaka like a ke sa morata.
Yeah.
So ke mmotsa bjang ausa ka no ska mo like ke part of pregnancy ka kra ngwana e wila. So I've been telling my sisters on nna motho a ke sa monyaka e khotlhella dilo tse bja khotlhella e tlo change ke di hormones ke lo kra ngwana e tlo change. Okay, fine, ho lokile. Ngwana wa fitla like ha fetso ke mo kopela like ntho nyane fela ke kopela hore tšhelete ya e o tlo e fang ngwana o ira debit order o mo fa bokae. Na ngwana ke tla mo fa 2,000 ka simple. Ke le botsa ka month end 900. Manju ke plan ne hore okay ka ya hae ko reka dilo tsa ngwana ka ya ka ke ya ngwana ya crèche. Yo ha fetsa ke motsa ke like ke mo founela like ke phone ke bolela pila hello can we ira bjang ka dilo tsa ngwana. Ya o sa njaha ke nkhanti ke tla e romela tšhelete e manyana. Okay, fine, okay o tlo e romela Sometimes all every like last day of the month. If you had it 3. Because of foreign kapeni ga le na santse ke sekolong. Santse re no ke nne le ngwana ka montlong, ngwana le tsa idea shot. O ya bang Christian ke lo di shot. So, na kwa ntse e ke mmotso re wetse keng. Dilo tso dirang na I didn't. If unya ko fa ngwana 900, kopela o ire gore 900 e be debit order he. E titlele ko nna. E sa bantho le gore tshwantse re no ke be ko morawa ha wa tlhalang. Ya ke tlo ira. Come Friday, yeah, ke tlo ira debit order e lane auna media or eng. Like ha phone wa kwata. Yeah, wa sa tshwara phone. Pila go thata wa ha keng. Like ke na le ngwana le se ha ke mireng ke mo flash. Ke kono tshwara phone ya ha. Yeah, wait keng. It's not like ke re bothomo bona ngwana ka wena. Ke re nna wa ka ke first born ke etseng gore aka tlwaele. Manju mana ka teng ka montlong. Ke nna ke liwana mama kana ile on a business trip. Okay, fine. So I think it was December, 4 months. For Kena PE, unna Pitori. Kara irke Pitora lo na fail.
Yeah.
Sharp half it Pitori.
So whether you are making the effort to take the baby to Pretoria so that he can see the baby.
Azanka rumela li 2 rand okay, uta reka me it's what's a ling or thing. Understand that understand the part or maybe ana chele. I was that kind of person or okay, maybe ana chele irke mutus.
Yeah.
Sharp kapaka beke ka tlhapisa ngwana ka pakela ngwana ka ya ko hae ka mmotsa hore ke ko hae ene ko hae ba ira dilo like ha ke ngwana ha bele hile hae ha bo papa hae ba sa mothusa le skipanyana or if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yo, guys, I apologize for those who cannot hear the language, for the language barrier. Guys, you know what? I always get to be stuck in between when I have to ask people to speak in a language that they're not comfortable in, because then they fail to express themselves fully. But at the same time, I'm torn in between because there are people that are not from South Africa who cannot hear their local dialects, so I don't know how I'm going to resolve this one, guys. And also, this is a live broadcast, so there's no what do you call this thing? There's no automated translation thing that can ever go on. So I really do apologize. I always get this, even on YouTube, I get this all the time where people say, listen, the language, can they please use English? But with me, in as much as I want us to use English, that's why, hey, I'm a vendor girl, guys. I get tired of speaking English, but I do try so that I can accommodate everybody. But at the same time, I do understand that for some people, speaking English is literally just taking their story away from them because they're not going to be able to express themselves fully. And just to keep it going with what Ufense has shared with us so far, I think maybe she's answering a phone or something like that because the live is paused on her side. But for me, hi Shem, it's very much relatable what she's sharing. Fense, you can proceed, ma'am. I was just keeping the people busy while you answer your phone. It's such a relatable thing, that Fenze is talking about. I know that we're supposed to be talking about, she wants to check if maybe she's a narcissist or not, but the betrayal is real, guys. When people have not given you a reason to doubt them, you won't doubt them. You will believe them. Everything they say to you, you will believe it. But the minute they start disappointing you, you are a human being. You also have a heart. You are bound to feel disappointed. You are bound to feel part of your heart being broken to a point where they can't even be like mended again, I always say that most relationships were not even started because of money, but money is the big aspect that ends a lot of relationships. So we're not going to shy away from the fact that we didn't meet because of money, but we're going to separate because of money. Fenze?
Askisi, shmokinang honale dimpye so di champetse ka mo hae.
Okay.
So tse ke dintse. Ne ke lo dintsha skisi.
All right, no problem.
So and then kaya he ngwana na le 4 months kaya ko habo ne. And then a ke fitla ko habo. Ke kry-ile ngwana ka operation. And operation e incostile tube ya ka e 1. Ke lose tube e 1. Ke na le tube e 1 no.
Okay.
Wait mishimano la ampotso antsosa ka 2. manje azange a tla ko hae because ke mmoditse gore ko hae before ke tlisa ngwana how about go hen ba tlise maybe sekipanyana jerseynyana go no bontsha gore ba intolerant. Okay, it's fine. You know, ke ise ngwana ke ngwana bona at the end of the day. Ka isa ngwana ba mo thabela and all that. Na ke re ke ise ngwana ke sa le mo di paining. I get
Okay, I think Ufense has got
language.
Yes, we can hear you.
So, I isa ngwana. Ha ke fetlo isa ngwana. Like, are fully operation ka tswana ya ka ne le botlhoko ka gore ne se na le tšhu.
Okay.
So, ke mmotsa ke re like mo mpetong a ke khone go robala ke pitlagane. Okay, e re ke ale ko fatshe he ke tla robala ko fatshe, it's fine. Because of a ke khone nna ke jiga go botlhoko.
Yeah.
Yeah, pila o nyaka go robala le nna because of o grele boyfriend tempša pila wena o robala le boyfriend eo. Ke re batho wena like okay ke robala le boyfriend ke na le ngwana wa khonana. Moshimane la at first a robala le nna.
Sure.
A robala le nna fetsa robala le nna. A re yo like o robala le nna ke ntse ke llane. But ne ke tšhaba like ke la ntlhebile ke bolela ka yona tabeng ka tsene go ha e ba no makezo wa mo tlhoile so motho. Wa understand? Sharp. Ke mmotsa ke re mara o na no re ntho o irang e right na. Yeah, ha ba no nya gore na ke reng ke emele dikhwedi tsa dikhwedi gore wena o be sharp. Wa understand? Okay, fine. The following morning ke re wena ke re okay nna ke nya go ya hae ke re setse le bone ngwana. Ke hae ke be hae a phone. Ai bo maloma ka batlile ba nya go bona ngwana.
So what must happen now? You must go back.
Ke nna o happy. Okay. Ke re go ba bontsha ngwana. Ke namela ka tšhelete ya ka ebile a o fa rong lata mara go a bona le koloi. E namele vele ka ngwana.
Let me just mute Xolelwa there. Sorry. Okay, you can proceed.
Ke fitla ke kra batho vele a ba bona ngwana go shapo like ke sa tlhole ke monyaka at all. Okay, sharp re fitlhile the whole day ba ntse le ena ka re okay ino re ke robale ke tla tsamaya ka boshiu. Boshiu ke motholo ira ditshele ya gore no o tlo re ha o tla mo hae o tlo tsamaya o sa iragala selo like pila o na gore relationship e be byang. Ke motse ke re it is o tlo nkemela ke be sharp or o tlo tswa go bophelong baka.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Ke tle PE nna ke boe hae di holidays di fedile. Ke boe hae. Ke boe hae. Motho a phone walwa all the time, walwa and stuff. So ke re mo ena ke re I think now it's time gore wena o tle ka ntle ko nna ke leng. O tlo bona wala because nna tšhelete up and down a ke na yona. Okay, sharp ke khopetse leave. A kopela matsatsi vele a tle ka ntle. Ha tlile ka ntle. Motho a sa nya go bolla hae. Ke mmotsitse ke re khane o bolla hae neng but a ke nya go ibutsa o ka re ka mokoma. Khane mmereko o le
How long was he there? For how long was he with you before you started questioning or when are you going back?
It approached a month.
My sister, what type of leave is that?
Okay. Khane o ya hae neng? Esikhalanyana o tseya phone ya ka o ya kwa ntle khante. Na ira dilo tsa hae o khopela matsatsi o ira dilo tsa hae o ka re o nya go tlohela go mmerekong dilonyana tse beago. Okay. Moshimane o di badileng ka bophelo ba o tle nnamo. Pele nna bile mmereko lo mbora. Like ke motho nanya go gata nna pila wa tlalanya gore ke nya go e bya bya. Na pila mmereko lo mbora ke re ke mmereko o bora e ya hae. Nka say hi no ke tla thoma business ya di Uber. Okay, fine mo ke nnang o khono tra koloi ya ke and then o fa owner 1.8 ka beke. Fine a kry koloi a ire Uber.
So my sister, just like that, where there are Africans marriage with a man who came to see a baby.
Ke o botsa ke re hona mo right there.
Okay, you can proceed.
Go ba phone la mang nna. Khane pila motho so a re boaneng ke re nna motho a ke tse boaneng kopela gore wena o le mmae o bolelela because of ko ane o rometseng di-documente tsa gae ka ntle without even talking to me o romela di-ID le eng ke maketse a Ramex le mo gateng nna tse di-package ga ya di-ID le di eng okay fine okay a re tla bola le come holidays June ke ra wa nna di-holidays ke June ko bona ko kwaka because nna fitlhile mo nakong tsela tsa o lwala o ka re o lwala o tlhokofala ke nyako bona ko kwaka okay fine ke ile go kwaka ka mošia mo gae ka ra ke fitlha ko gae kwa ba founa ba rutlile re kgopela bona ngwana ka ile bona ngwana di-comment tsa bana ba di phosang ko moyeng yo wetse ke eng pila motho o ira tšhelete ka ntlhelane le ja tšhelete why a sa boe why a sa nyako boa ke rawa nna motho o itse a re wena lena le boletse gore a tlo nna ka ntle eng manju ha tlile ka ntle a roba le ka mre one
Yeah, we can hear you.
It's network like I so good is.
Hey. Yo, hi. I am lost for words, my sister. Like, I am lost for words, Shem. I really just want her to like finish her story, but I can tell you now before she even finishes off that she's definitely not a narcissist. She is far from being a narcissist. Yes, we can tell her what we think about her situation and everything, but a narcissist is definitely not one of them. Okay, I can see that Ufense is out. Maybe it's for the network thing, and also I think there were people who were speaking in the background. But with what she has already shared with us so far, yeah, our network is good on our side. The problem is with Ufense, and she's gone out now, ne? But if there's anybody who has joined this live because you wanted to say a thing or two to Ufense, you're more than welcome to share your views and thoughts. Hey, I think I'll speak last, guys, but I think those who have been consuming my content long enough, you already know what I'm going to say about this. To say, this man has violated Ufense in so many ways. Not only has he violated her sexually, he's violated her trust. He has taken her for, I don't know what he thinks she is, but this is a man who has never been honest with her from the get-go. This man, like, I feel like she's been with a stranger all her life, all her relationship life with this man. It's been with a stranger, and how she's feeling right now is just her retaliating, or the resentment that she has. It's not misdirected, in my opinion. It's not misdirected, honestly speaking. It's just that unfortunately, because she didn't come to tell us. She didn't get to a point where she tells us where the relationship is right now. But if they are still together, probably still for the sake of Mwana. But in my opinion, I don't see anything narcissistic. I just feel somebody who is resentful towards a person who betrayed her in more than one way, and somebody that the dream that he sold her is not the reality. And obviously when people do that to you, all of a sudden you will be feeling like, okay, so that means that I'm stupid. That means that when you are like when you look at me, you see fool, you see made in China written right here across my forehead. So for me, I don't see her being a narcissist per se. I just see somebody who is really, really who's been betrayed. And also I'm just hoping, also same here, Mam Lambo, I'm also hoping that, and maybe the ending of the story is that the relationship has come to an end, or she's working on an exit plan. But guys, it's very difficult. This thing, Yauri, people do us dirty, and somehow they expect you to get over it, keep it going, keep it moving. Let's move on with the program. Let's talk about other things now. Let's focus on rebuilding. How do you rebuild when the foundation is alive? Like, it's so difficult. So with somebody like that, somebody financially is irresponsible, somebody who can't be trusted, somebody who goes against his own word, he goes back on his own word. Like, literally, you don't even know who this person that you are building with is. So it's pointless for you to even be like, it's like one of those things where you look at it like, who the heck are you? So yeah, excuse me, I don't know if there's anybody else who wants to add on to Offense's story before we can move on to somebody else who has something else to share.
Perseverance, ngicela ukusho something then ngifuna charge your phone, but
Yebo,
I'm
mama.
gonna be on live.
Okay.
Okay. Responding to her, nami ngicabanga ukuthi she's not a narcissist, ne? She's a human being. I've got a problem. Ngabantu, I don't know if, I hope I'm not gonna offend anyone.
Okay.
I don't know what is it. Abantu basemakhaya, female, Limpopo, especially the ones that speak Sepedi, that language, the deep language.
I'm already offended before you finish, my sister, but it's fine. You are safe. You are safe, eh?
Why ngisho njalo?
Yes.
I've got one, my friend, ngicela ukumzama ukumthumela iWhatsApp ukuthi aloge onto your life.
Okay.
Nayo wangale Limpopo, and she speaks the language as well. Partner wakhe uyamgila. Mangithi, like, I've got a problem with them. It's they're too humble. What is wrong? They don't see it. It's like they are punching bags. So that's the problem I've got. I don't know what Baba Kulise in a manner of you need to respect a man no matter what. You must understand men have some mental disability. Angazi, there's something like that in the they have to understand whatever situation. And why am I saying abantu abaselimpompo kakhulu? Because nami on my end, I've got like people that are close to me from
My
Limpopo.
sister, they're already fetching you in the comment section. They're saying this is not Limpopo, it's Limpopo. Hey, you already know they're coming for you.
Limpopo.
Limpopo, I now we are Zenzisa, yes.
Limpopo. I think Limpopo.
Yeah, yes.
So, okay, it's abasemakhaya.
Yes.
But mina I've got it's abasemakhaya. But mina I've got like two, three of them that I'm very close to them, and they are partners bayabakila. Mangithi bayabakila, they are very humble to whatever situation. One of the people that I know was served in divorce papers.
Sure.
And surprisingly, this person or husband uthi kuye ngcono masihlala as boyfriend and girlfriend, masi divorce.
Okay.
So she must understand that.
Okay.
And who's Toby about that? I'm gonna go with it. So I don't know is it the way they told themselves to know whatever a man asks for, do it. A man is always right, the head and so forth. So
yeah,
we need to also look at that. You know what? It's hurting our people. Mind our people, women. I'm talking now on behalf of and by the way, I'm Tonga as well. That is Bedi.
Hey, women, they're coming for you. Do you see these requests? This legal podcast essay, they're here for you, my sister. You're on your own.
that is actually Bedi. But yeah. So mina ngilo oqinile lo waselokishini lo othi wena indoda mayithi ayifuni, and nami I think I'm from that situation yokuthi ingigilile indoda ukuthi nje mina beyingigila kamnandi ngemali ukuthi mayicela ukungishaya mayicela ukungiabuse emotionally, he would shower me with money, but eventually I had to wake up. And I told myself I did not sign up for this. So what I've noticed, abantu sibuya nabekhaya. I'm not going to say province and so forth, but abantu engibuya nabekhaya, they are on a slide. Indoda does something, they are sliding. Indoda leaves on Friday, comes back on Monday after work. Usuke ekhaya Friday kusena emsebenzini. They don't question it. If they question it, there's a threat. So I'm actually worried. What's happening? Why kunjalo emakhaya? Why are they? Is it something that they were taught? Mina ngikhulela ngekhaya, ngikhulela elokishini njengoba ngisho ngikhulela eSoweto. So there's akunabo ma-formality ukuthi intombazane kumele igcoke kanje or yenzeni. So it's one of those. That's my biggest worry. Can we look at that as well? We need
because the people are angry and they're asking relevant questions now. I'm going to just summarize my response in terms of what you just shared with us. Number one, I've got a very, when we were talking, I had a very good example of how women's minds can be played with. And the perfect example that I have for you is Nandipha Makuduman. Nandipha is not from Limpopo. Ne? And also another thing, Nandipha is very, very educated. You understand? So mind games with women does not depend on where you come from, right? Number two, and I understand, I understand because there's this stereotype about certain groups that we grow up with, and then just because you saw one or two people who behave a certain way from a certain village, you would think everybody's like that. I'll give you an example with myself. I'm a vendor girl. I think I just fucked up things for all vendor girls in the world because they've been able to maintain a record of being good wives. I've seen in a couple of podcasts where they would say, vendor, if you want to marry well, go to vendor, marry a wife who is respectful. She will sit down, she will listen to you, she will honor you. But here I am, I'm a flippant vendor girl who grew up in the village, and I tell you now, when you tell me one, I'll tell you 150, So it has absolutely nothing to do with where people grow up from. It has got everything to do with what you allow in your system. And yeah, I don't blame you because you've been exposed to what you've been exposed to. And when you see people behaving in a different way, obviously you would just conclude, because listen, when you see one, two people behaving a certain way, you will conclude that everybody's like that. The past, there's gonna be 3 episodes that are gonna be coming on our other podcast, not this live podcast, the Safe Space Chats podcast. The one that is airing this Sunday is a girl who grew up in Tembisa. This girl has been to a psychiatric ward. She has been to a Sun City maximum prison because of a man who has been beating her up, a man who groomed her from a young age, and she grew up in Tembisa. I have another situation of a girl who also grew up in the township, who has been beaten up by a man, who has been hanging on to a man for the longest time. These things are happening everywhere. I think, Palisane, I don't know how to put it, but I think maybe because you have 1 or 2 friends that are from the villages, from Limpopo, from here, from there, you have seen them behaving a certain way, then you would say that it's everywhere. But honestly speaking, babe, it's everywhere. Even in Soweto, there are people who are succumbing. There are people who put in-daughter before anything. There should be classmates that you went to school with who decided to ditch school because of in-daughter, who've decided that they're going to give birth to children and whatnot. So honestly speaking, I believe that the stereotype of saying that people who grow up from the villages are the ones who succumb to this. Like, look at me, babe. Like, born and bred in the villages. I went to General Mamava preschool. I went to Mashamba Presidential School. I went to Raluambe Secondary School. But I will tell you now, right in your face, shit is shit. And I'm a vendor girl. And we are known to be very respectful. So it's got absolutely nothing to do with a group of people. It's an individual choice.
Yeah, I do understand. And yes, let me just withdraw a statement as well. Just that with me, I think I looked at my circle.
Yes.
As much as I'm Kulele is Soweto, I've got I don't have much friends, but say Dokshini, and those friends that I've got, say Soweto Kona Lapo, or rather, let me say like Gauteng, they hardcore, they are stubborn. It's unless they are not showing their true colors, they are not transparent, like the ones Manye Makaya, and now that I'm friends with them and so forth, Labo, we talk. So they would say 1, 2, 3. So that mindset.
I'm seeing a comment here from somebody saying, "Don't do that, Palisa. I have high blood pressure." Hey, you must withdraw, Chief. You must withdraw. You're in trouble now. With village people are not happy with you.
No, Bengi, so in my end, it's a matter of, I think I looked within my circle.
Yeah.
But as much as Nami, I don't want to lie, as much as in Kulele Soweto, I was in an abusive relationship in Jobangisho. I stayed, I even have a child. Namanje, that person, I come in your life and even talk about it.
Yeah.
So I took a decision which I would wish the people in my circle will also take the same decision that I am taking. And happens with those same people are your buddies, and so forth, and they are within my circle.
Okay.
So yeah, I do actually withdraw my statement. Because nami ngikhulele lokushini, I think nami ngi-encounterile and mawuse ungenile inhliziyo idom.
Exactly. Regardless of where you come from.
yeah, regardless of where you come from. Ungasho ukuthi I've once said I would never be in an abusive relationship, and guess what? 2018 bengishaywa up until 2020. So you see.
Yeah.
So ngiyaxolisa.
No, I know siyakuzwa but siyaxolela yazi. Yes, siyaxola. Yazi thina siyaxola nje. We are the xolist of them all. Before we yona any further, sithandwa sami mina ngikuthanda kabi. I don't want you going anywhere. I love you so much.
Madam, can I come in?
Yeah. Yes, you may come in. Please don't. She's already apologized now. Please don't eat her up.
How are you? I'm going to be on the live. But
Okay.
Charge your phone.
Okay, sharp it. Okay, sharp sandla sami love you ne. Ungasasidelela abantu basemakhaya. Yeah, izokushaya ngelightning njengamanje. Yeah? We'll hit you with a lightning now.
Don't worry, I'm not going to chow you. How are you, madam?
I'm good. How are you, my darling?
I'm good. It's been a long time, eh?
Yeah. I'm so happy to hear.
I don't even think you still remember me, but you will remember me, ne?
Okay.
Ngiyabona the comments. Upalisa, I understand where she comes from.
Yeah.
Ke lebogang ke ngwaninyana wa kwa ga Sekhukhune se bona ke sebataladi ke mopedi, right? I'm that girl who found her husband sleeping with a woman, and 2 weeks later she filed for divorce. So I understand her very well when she says abantu basemakhaya ngikhulele emakhaya ngumuntu wasemakhaya. I understand her very well. Ukuthi emakhaya siba behind ngezinto eziningi. Madam Speaker, my divorce was finalized last year and it started in 2021, right?
Okay.
So the way the way the comments ba di dirang gore yeah ona le matepe this and that blah blah blah, like man wa bona gore, I mean, come on guys, like I was raised by my mom and my dad in a very big family, and I always tell people ukuthi ngile ntombazane yathandwa ubaba wakhe. If there is one thing that I'm grateful of was ukuthi ubaba wami abe present in my life, so that I can grow up knowing ukuthi kuyini ukuthandwa umuntu wesilisa, kunjani to be loved by men. We understand. So I understand where she's coming from. Magati amantombazana like bayangihleka ukuthi wena ukancha ke mosadi o mong ga gago, ukancha ke mosadi. Ubabami made sure ukuthi ngiyayazi indawo yakhe kuyena. We understand. Ko papaka we are 8 girls, right? But if you've never met my other sisters or anyone, you think I'm the only girl kubaba wami. Indlela ubaba wayengithanda ngayo, and he really loved me and he treated me differently, and I was liking ngathola umshado ngashada. And now as the things are busy unfolding, ngicala ukubona ukuthi this is not how I should be loved. I don't think umuntu ongithandayo could put me through this.
Yeah.
We understand. So ubaba wabuzwa ukuthi kungani uLebu treated different from the other children. Kubaba wami, I'm the 9th child, right?
Okay.
So umamami magathola mina, we were twins.
Okay.
And umamami had 14 kids.
Okay.
So I'm the 9th one ekhaya.
Okay.
So it is said it was that time whereby bekathola ingcindezi ukuthi kufuneka abafana and upopha amantombazane. And umamami makangizala, she was helping herself to deliver me and my brother. Unfortunately ubhuti wami washona. Then kwaba nestatement zokuthi yazi ngabe kushone le ntombazana kwaphila lo mfana.
Sure.
And ubabami wangitshela ukuthi wabona ngirejectwa by everyone. Everyone wished ukuthi kwashona umfana, kwashona mina ukuze kuphile umfana. So I was never close to my mom. I was so close to my dad. So ubaba wangenza igugu kena. Ubaba he's a Christian, so u understand ukuthi ingane ezasemshadweni. But vele thina abantu baseLimpopo sinayo lento lena
yokufuna ukubamba umendo noma kungasasebenzi noma kungasalungi like Madam Speaker, that is why a lot of people back hater bangakuthandi. Just the other day somebody wathi that's why you so follow Madam Speaker kanti.
Yeah.
We understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, so abakhona understand ukuthi ushiya kanjani umshado. Even if you put your reasons here, they don't understand. So ngiyacabanga ukuthi nami I've met abantu abaningi, abantu baseLimpopo, like they don't understand ukuthi why ngidivorceile. But busy every day they reminding me of the BMWs that I was driving, the luxurious life that I was living. And I'm like, guys, I chose my peace, my right mental state. Nje ukuthi ngibe right mina. We understand. Okunye nokunye, it just doesn't matter. Ngibe ngifuna ukuthi ngibe right. Because at the end of the day, ngikhulisa abantwana, ngifuna bakhule babona umama ojabulile. Not umama ohleli because of magahamba uzoyapi.
You know, babes, ne? Sorry to cut you there.
They will always judge you ukuthi when I was serious and I did all I could to save my marriage, but I came to a place where I was like, you know what, now I can't take it anymore, and I walked away and I never looked back.
Yes, see, I can see the people from Limpopo are also rejecting you more because now they're asking in the comments, why are you speaking in Sizulu when you are a baby girl? But also, wait, but then okay, so you're used to it. Same here. Well, I stay in Lipalale, so I speak Sepedi a lot. But look, what I wanted to touch on, ne, with Limpopo people, the one thing that I can tell you for sure, ne, when it comes to our culture, we are very respectful people, right? And in us being respectful, I think this is where we differ from everybody else who's everywhere else. That's why people think that we value marriage more than people from everywhere else, and we succumb to abuse more than people from everywhere else. Now, here's the thing. The abuse that we endure is the same throughout, ne? Like, if you're dealing with a narcissist, it doesn't matter whether you're coming from Limpopo, you're coming from Bumalanga, a narcissist is a narcissist. Now, the difference between us and a lot of other people, especially maybe people like, I'd say Palisa, ne? We were taught to keep quiet. We were taught that when you are well-mannered, it's when you are not saying anything. We were taught that when you open your mouth, you are ratchet. When you open your mouth, you're not desirable. When you open your mouth, that is a sign of disrespect. I think that's where we differ from everybody else. But that doesn't make us any less victims of abuse compared to other people. Because you and Palisa, you could date the same man. Palisa is from Soweto, you from Sikukune. You can date the same man. But because of the values and the cultures of how we were raised, Palisa was raised in an environment where she can tell a man, fuck, you know, you don't get to tell me that. And when on the other hand, you were raised in an environment where you were taught to keep quiet and not ask a lot of questions. But that doesn't mean when I, as somebody who was taught to keep quiet, your abuse is going to be secondhand. No, you can face the same abuse, but the difference is in how we react. That's why we come across as if we are people who love marriage and who value marriage and who are respectful. It's because that's how we were taught. But it doesn't make us any less of victims compared to people from other places. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get you, ma'am.
Yeah. So for me, I think really the abuse is the same. The difference is how we were raised. If you were raised in an environment where talking it makes you undesirable, then you're going to keep quiet. And then there's me who decided to just be a loudmouth. Like literally, guys, me, I'm a black sheep and I don't give a damn, you know. I know for a fact that I am not desirable, you know, amongst a lot of people in our culture or no, you don't talk a lot as a woman, and I'm okay with just being me, you know. No, I'm the Baba Black Sheep. Thank you so much, Lebza. I don't know if we should go back to Kamo because we skipped you there because Lebza decided to just hijack you.
Yes. Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Kamo.
Hi. So I'm starting a new topic, so I'm not really responding to what you guys were saying. So
just hold it right there. Before you start a new topic, ne? So that means that when we are putting your case on, I hope you don't mind, ne? Because I would hate for us to deviate before we conclude on this one, just in case there's somebody here who's on the panel who wanted to say something based on what we're talking about now, then when we wrap that up, then we can come to you with a new topic. Is that okay?
Although, just note, the topic is not too far off from what you were talking about. It's related, but yeah, it's a different topic.
So you wouldn't mind waiting a bit, ne?
No, it's fine.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Dimakato.
Hello, guys.
Good, how are you, my darling?
I'm good, thank you. I am just over the moon to be with you at this moment.
Thank you so much for joining in.
I've been following you. I think you've opened my mind in a different ways in life. In a relationship side, in a family side, you have taught me something that I've never thought that I will get from someone else in life. Most of the time when I listen to you, I kind of have a clear of what will be my tomorrow look like.
Okay, thank you
That's
so
why
much.
I am saying that I am very honored. I've been trying many times just to have that voice with you.
Thank you so much, my darling. I really appreciate this beautiful feedback.
And my topic will be a different topic.
So you're also on a different topic?
Yeah, since while you're on another topic, I will hold.
Yeah, so that means it's going to be Kamu, then it's going to be you, all right?
Yes.
Because I just want us to wrap up on this one that we are busy with now, and then we can go address other things, all right?
I understand.
Okay, sure. Thank you, darling. Love Daria.
Hello.
How you doing, darling?
Njani?
See, we good, thank you.
Hayi mina kwanyalo nje ngisalalele nje.
We appreciate you and the moral support.
Safunza lokuningi.
Aw, siyabonga. Yathi ngike ngajole eSwatini benginomuntu ibile uyangikhumbuda yathi benginomuntu eSwatini yathi. Ngithanda iSwati. Hlala khona lapho wena sister-in-law yami ungiphi moral support. Ngiyakuthanda eva.
Okay, uthanda ngemsisi.
Sharp darling. Robis before I swear this person of God. Hey, wena muntu wenkosi. Robi something. Siwela. Talk to us before I butcher your name. Okay, Robi Siwela is sleeping. We will move to my favorite. Okay, everybody's my favorite. But we'll move to the legal podcast.
Repairing.
Hey, ngwana mane.
Minjani, Madam Speaker?
Izumbini ngwana mane ngobo. No.
Nana izumbini. Hello everybody.
Hi,
my
darling.
name is Sagwadi Wakarabutla and I am from Limpopo. After vendor respect, there comes as Tongas. I think that with the issue of the narcissist, it's the way we were raised. It doesn't start in the marriage. It starts, we were raised to, okay, I'll talk about me. In my house, I'm 13, I don't have feelings. Even today, I don't have...
My sister, what do you mean you don't have feelings?
I don't have feelings. The elders, you don't tell your elders about this. This is how I feel. You shut up.
Okay.
You don't have feelings. And just two or 3 weeks ago, my aunt is 60 or turning 61. She told me that I will never apologize to a child. So we were already programmed. Imagine by the time you get married at the age of 25, you know that you must shut up. The minute you open your mouth, you are wrong. You are not desirable. So the kind of person that I am is a little bit worse than Madam Speaker. Me, I'm the black sheep of the family, and I talk. This mouth of mine.
Now I see why you are my favorite, my sister. Now I understand.
My mouth does not have brick, and the problem is my mouth, Shem. So I think as we grow, we get into relationships. Not, I'll talk about me. I was not supposed to talk about how I feel. And then I was forcing we're going to talk about feelings in my family. So I grew up, you get into these relationships. Already, as people were talking about us, Limpopo people, we have, most of us, daddy issues. We have approval issues. We grew up without mothers. My mom died when I was 10. So, yeah. So, when it comes to my aunt who raised me, she did a good job, to be honest. She did her best. She took us to school when she could have just focused on the child and took the child to private school, but she all took us to public. So we don't talk about feelings. We don't the minute you talk, you're disrespectful. That's it. Don't hlamula.
Yeah.
Then you grow, you get into relationships. Now because you are channeled in that way, you start the minute you're not gonna say anything about how you feel. You die inside. You die inside because when the minute you open your mouth, you are telling or telling. I'm Tonga. Okay, I'm Sagwad Wakarabuta. My dad is Pedi, I'm Pedi. So I grew up, my dad wasn't there. I grew up, my mom was gone. My aunt was there just trying to survive with us. So I grew up wanting to do everything to make sure that I make my aunt proud. So when I get into a relationship, already I can't talk. I'm a people pleaser. I am going to suffer. And already I always tell Papa Tabajo that my son is like me. My son is me. He's 4. He's me. I always say the day somebody tells my child Papa, because that's what killed my voice, I will go and beat that person like a strat mate. My son is unique. My son is confident, just like me. My other name is Confidence. That's fine. That's his personality. That's how I want him. So the reason why we stick with this narcissist and whatever, most of it, other people end up dead, is because we were groomed to keep quiet.
Sure.
We were groomed to say, the minute you open your mouth, you are wrong. We were groomed to be people pleasers. That is where we have the other topic of people of home and stuff like that. Because we are groomed to people please. I stopped people pleasing. They say the day I saw a video, yeah, Madam Speaker, yeah, the boundaries. 3 or 2 years ago, nobody likes me. I'm unlikable, even in the family. I'm unlikable because I will talk.
Yeah.
I will tell them. Like I remember. I mean, if we were raised like Bopalesa, we could tell people about how I feel. I wouldn't have kept quiet until I was 24 to say I was molested. Even when I said that, I was told, get over it. So you must cry for everything. So that's where we start to fight with the family. You are not allowed to talk. So not that we are stupid with our degrees, Palisa, when everybody's educated. It's how we were. Educated or non-educated, we were taught the minute you open your mouth, barwa rasa.
Yeah.
You're disrespectful.
And also another thing,
when
because
it comes to marriage, you're like.
And also because when there's a lot of you, you're trying to fight for attention. So meaning that if you're gonna be the loudmouth, you'll be the least desirable. Meaning that you're not even gonna get that attention. So you have to fight even more. Meaning that suppresses your voice even more.
Exactly. So you are not exactly. That's what was happening with me, because the more they were all saying, "Shut up, don't." That's the more I say, "Hey guys, we are going to." Me and my aunt, my aunt is my mom. Basically, she raised me from when I was small. Took my mom to school. My mom passed. She continued with us.
Yeah.
Mara, we can spend months without talking. Even now, my children are there for holidays. I'm gonna go and fetch them. I don't call her because we will clash. I will tell her, but no, this is what I think. And she will say, I'm not, as a child, you don't think.
Yeah.
And that thing, if I carry on with it with my children, it's gonna end up, they're gonna end up committing suicide. How many times have I tried? Because we shut up. Now when you find this man, he'll be saying, yeah, when I go rattle out, you don't complain. While you're dying inside. Sometimes we kill ourselves because we want to fit in. The last speaker spoke about marriage. We want to be the Mrs. Guys, 5 hours ago, I was telling somebody off. Not because I don't have respect, because sometimes you have to say the things the way they are. Or I want to hear. You are flopping my brother. No. So we don't do that. We stay very emotionally abused, because when you talk very wapap. So let us learn to open our mouths. Let us not be nice then, because we end up nice, we end up drinking pills, and it's not only HIV, high blood pressure.
imagine because when you have to understand that your partner's got a phone that looks when he's with you he puts it upside down. You have to understand that he's private, and those are the things you don't like. Speak. How fella fedile, get another one. If he doesn't want to change, if he doesn't want to take you to the head, you're not the one. Go. Because at the end of the day, what are we dying for?
Yeah.
What are we dying for? I mean, I don't want to be nice. I used to be nice to needed approval. And the Limpopo people, we are the ones who suffer a lot from mother-in-laws, maybe who don't like us, because we keep quiet. I suffered, I cried until I was like, guys.
You will die.
Yeah, you will die. Madam Speaker, me, I don't want to be liked. As long as I'm a good example to my kids, that's what matters to me. Everybody else that I met on the street, I love you, but it's all right, man. It's okay. It's okay. So that's my take on how we fall trapped to narcissism.
Yeah.
That's what happens to most of us Limpopo girls. To answer, we were taught to shut up.
Yeah. No. I hear you, and I appreciate your input because it's so deep. Like, listen, let me tell you something. You did not miss there. You did not miss. So thank you so much. I love you long time, my darling. I don't know who I'm gonna kick out here, but somebody must go because Offense is back and she must finish her story. So I'm going to ditch someone to let Offense come back in and finish her story. Uba no phumayo angiboni. Okay. What's wrong with you, Palisa?
I don't know why was everyone trying to bite my head off. Mangithi abantu basekhaya kanje
Hayi Palisa wena Palisa oh. So Palisa wait, so kahle Palisa, you are taking back your sorry. You are no longer sorry anymore. So you are not sorry anymore.
Palisa, I'm not from the village.
I am sorry, ne? I am sorry. But I am sorry, ne? But it goes back to, so clearly it's not just my circle. And again, it confirms ukuthi abantu basekhaya inhlonipho.
Hi Palisa. The legal podcast is not from the villages, ne? Palisa.
I'm from the township.
She's from the township, like there are townships in Limpopo. How do you take us, Palisa?
Vendors, baddies.
Wait, Palisa, Mara, I think the heart of my darling.
Irrespect, like irrespective, perseverance of manja and about how people are gonna take it. Irrespect, it's too much. Where you can't voice out, you can't say anything. I was mina njengoba ngisho ukuthi ngikhulele lokushini ngangena kubo ngabingelela ugogo wakhe wangiphoxa wathi kimi tshela lo mngani wakho lokuthi makabingelela la ekhaya uyacosha ulala phansi but mina ngisungumfethu angisazange ngisaphinde ngayo yabona ukuthi irrespect abantu abadala ebafundisa abantu mina sengikhulumela abantwana angazi generation yethu raising our kids are they doing the same thing that abo mama bethu abo gogo bethu they did. They were too much.
Palisa, but busy on YouTube back to about you must relax, chief, relax. Wait, Sandra Samine. Wait, let me tell you something. My love, wait, Palisa ne. I hear you and I agree with you in a sense, Yoguti, like we are saying, Woguti, we were taught not to voice out, not to raise our voices. But the point that I was trying to make, that I'm going to go back to, is that abuse does not have any limits. The difference that I want you to see is reaction. The thing that you are addressing or the thing you should be addressing is how we react to abuse compared to you. You understand? Because like I said in the beginning, we are all succumbing to abuse. But now how we react to the abuse.
Okay, I'm going to
okay. Go to one, man.
No, it's fine, perseverance. Maranje, let's look at ourselves as well. Mina, I am ready. Nyengas, beggars, scrutinize, and abona ngathi inhlonipho kwami angifundise yona. It's too much. Lekuthi I have to humble myself. Every time I have to humble myself, he comes back, he cheats on me, I must humble myself. I must not say anything.
No, my sister.
Ikubaza female people. Iyabakubaza.
Yeah, mama. Now, even when you have a big mouth, you can still be abused with your big mouth, mama. Yes.
I'm out.
You can still be abused even when you have a big mouth. You know, the point here is not about where you are based. Ne? It's about the fact that anybody can be, you know, a victim of abuse, regardless of where you come from. The difference is how you react. So I feel like when you are judging people from the villages because they don't react the same way that you react, we are both being abused by the same man. When uti you take out your knife, you want to be busy with this man. Mina, on the other hand, I'm quiet. But at the end of the day, the both of us are being abused. So when you are when Apalisa, you are addressing the reaction. Hi Palisa. They are busy calling you here. They're saying, Palisa, how many times did I call your name? People are busy saying that they're typing your name out here. Palisa, Palisa, how many times did I call your name? Bazok Shaya.
I'm out. Maroksala, I want everyone to voice out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my darling. Love you long time. But while we're getting offense to come in, I think anybody else who has not yet spoken can share their views and opinion. While offense comes in, she finishes a story, then we go back to Kamu and Dimakato. Is it Dimakato? I think so. Hi, Robbie. Siwela. Rana le guy. Yes, my brother. Talk to us.
Okay, look at it's already topic about the narcissist, and then I had to mention that I had somewhere that mentioned about I think for us to be narcissistic, from entry from
Yes.
childhood arena,
Yes.
because of what we experienced, the people who we actually, which are not, we are narcissistic, understand? So now my experience growing up, I had a father, but then he was absent as a father. But then understand that man he would choose family high over arena and our highly lemama of which him study you understand. So like growing up I experienced now we experienced so much of emotional abuse because that man would tell us tell us what if king a person was in a scene and I would do it, you understand. So as a male child I did not have that bond with my father, you understand. I could have that bond already. Whatever that I'm encountering relationship I could go to him or life in general. Go and be like, you know what, this is what I'm experiencing, or this is what I'm going through. I will lie, you understand? Because of niggas even now I can't talk to him. What things still alive that now but I cannot go to him and be like, no papa, I hope you want to so every time whenever I can encounter certain things still or I should sit down with a male person or an adult. I can't go to him because of absence high.
Yeah.
I understand. So growing up, high emotional abuse turned into somebody I thought the next person pain. It's a good thing to do. I understand. Because I grew up with that pain. I never had that somebody learning or this is what I went through. Like I used to be secretive. I felt like I'm entitled to whatever that I'm going through. So I cannot voice up because of no I understand but deep down it can't understand. Up until I come to a point whereby I get depressed. Like I tried several times who committed suicide, you understand? But then, fortunately enough, I want to lower in the success.
Yeah.
So, growing up, that trauma, like, relocating from home, like, flashback, it's like a matla, understand? Whatever, waiting, also, like, I'm better self-esteem to a point where I even doubt myself. You understand? I cannot like I hate pitching in because of low self-esteem.
Yeah.
Because I was raised I'm not enough. Understand? So I'm self-esteem to a point where even though but for me, I cannot pitch more mass gathering or I cannot face people because of self-doubt. It puts her in like a man. Of which to employ like I'm still learning struggle like I build.
Yeah.
And then it affects the relationship the partner. Because of my partner always addressed our no. When you're a non-talent, you're a narcissist. You understand? And then doing my research, what is a narcissist?
Yeah.
And then everything I highlight, everything I put about a narcissist. And I can see the pain through her eyes. And I cannot come to her whenever I get hit and then come comfort and say, no, I'm sorry for this. I cannot. Courage can even cry next to me, like next to me. I feel a pain, but I cannot comfort her and then say, I'm sorry. Understand? Of which is wrong. I can justify the actions because of what I went through. Understand?
Yeah.
I'm here to ask for help, or how can I change? Because I want to be a better version for my dad. Understand?
Yeah.
That pain loring break. Understand? I want to head the next person. Understand? Because of partner I feel like Osafara what I went through. She's repeating whatever that I saw back then. You understand? And trust you me, Madam Speak, and then now I wanna change. I wanna be a different version from my father. Like I totally wanna be a different person from Yena. You understand? As even I registered an organization is an NPO whereby ke thusa batho ba ba tlhokang, understand?
Yeah.
Bana mo motseng, basadi, all that, youth, understand?
Yeah.
So I can go bathong ke appear as motho o mo sharp while ka mo jarateng. My partner doesn't seem a nice guy, you understand? And the way I link at thing, from wherever she's coming from, she's hurt, you understand? She's depressed, she went through a lot, she's even going through a lot. So instead of me being there protecting her, I'm aiding on what she's going through or what she went through, understand? Of which I should be a protector high since I feel more comfortable, safe, but she cannot feel safe. Instead, we feel more pain. And then she once said to me, I cannot leave this relationship because of at some point, young head, I believe did happy. At some point, can I go lose, but I can go lose. Understand? So I don't know if I do I make sense.
I hear you loud and clear, my brother.
So madam, like I go too, so cause how can I change from the person who I am? I wanna be a better man for girlfriend and then a future husband, and also for my understand? I know what I went through, my wife and kids, through it all.
My brother, the danger in her just having an encounter with one Madam Speaker video, she can actually change her mind about wanting to stick around in a relationship with a narcissist. Like literally, 1 minute she can say, I don't want to lose you even though you're hurting me. The next thing she comes across my video and she's be like, no, you know what, I'm done. This is my wake-up call. And the two things that I want you to be aware of, number one, when you know that you have a problem, there are two types of people. There are people who are denial, like they're very much in denial of the problem that they have. And then there are people who acknowledge the problem that they have. But when they acknowledge this problem that they have, now we're going to branch out from the second one. Ne? When we come to the ones who have acknowledged the problem that they have, others only want to acknowledge it because they want people to feel sorry for them. But bona, they're not going to change their ways. They want people to understand their situation. So many times you will find a woman sticking around in a relationship where when you beat her up, you'll say to her, listen, I know I'm sorry and everything, but the reason why I'm beating you up is because, Lina, I grew up seeing my mother being beaten up. I don't know what to do with my situation. And that works to a certain degree because there are people that don't really want to change. They're only admitting to their mistakes simply because they want you to understand, or it's not their fault that they are the way that they are. Then you will stick around Marabona, and they will continue abusing you the same way that they've been abusing you, right? Now, when it comes to the other ones, there are those that when they acknowledge their shortcomings, they acknowledge it and they really action it, because when I say, listen, I have childhood traumas and I ended at that, it's not going to help me with anything. Me being aware of the problem that I have, it's not helping with anything. But me being able to say, now I want to get up and get help for the problem that I have, that says a lot, because if you are saying that, and also it takes a big person to be able to admit the reality of their life, to say, okay, these are my shortcomings, this is what I'm facing, these are my problems. But after you admitting all of that, the next step now is more important than you admitting, because it's pointless that you admit but you're not doing anything about it. So now when you say, I acknowledge the fact that I grew up in a home that is not a toxic home. I saw my father doing this to my mother. But after me seeing my father doing this to my mother, I want something different for myself. But the fact that you are sitting here and you're saying that and your partner understands your situation, it's not good enough. What is good enough? What is good enough is for you to say, okay, after I've accepted my situation and I know what needs to be done, is to do the actual work. And how do you start doing the actual work? Now, I always say that the most useful tool in my hands has always been YouTube. How to stop being a narcissist. That's literally where you can start. And then after you teach yourself and educate yourself on, okay, but at least the part where you understand why you have narcissistic traits, you've covered that part. Now having to unlearn and reverse all of that, the onus is now on you to say, I want to do the actual work. And also there's one thing that I want to correct from what you said, Nem. When you said that I want to be a better man for my wife, I want to be a better man, okay, for my future wife, sorry, and also I want to be a better man for my children. Once you learn about your own self-awareness and healing from everything that is in you, you will understand that you don't have to be a better man for anybody else but yourself. Trust and believe the first person who's going to be benefiting from the best version of you is you. So once you put everybody out there and you just focus on yourself to say, I want to heal for Sewela, not for the next person, because there's a possibility that after this relationship has gone for like a year or 2 years, not the same woman, she can come back and say, listen, I found greater pastures, or I don't love you anymore. Then if you are saying that you are healing for her, then that means you're going to relapse and go all the way back and still do the same thing that you've been doing all along. So once you personalize this healing and you say, I want to heal for myself, I want to start doing research and reading and learning on how to heal or how to overcome being this, you put yourself in mind, you say, I want to do it for myself. And then everybody who's around you that loves you, they will definitely benefit from you doing that for yourself. You understand what I mean? Meaning that even if this relationship, God forbid, if this relationship comes to an end, somebody else comes, that somebody else is still going to benefit because they're going to be feeding from the deepest part of your heart, where you're not doing it because you're trying to look for spectators. Who are you trying to please? With you doing all this great work, the charity work that you're doing and whatever, literally forget about everybody else when you are doing this thing for yourself. You do it for you because you want to heal, you want to become a better version of yourself, for yourself first, before you can become a better version for anybody else. Once you do these researches, read about this thing, how to, and then if you do have therapy, funds for therapy, and the time for therapy. Now, I always say in all my videos that, listen, I'm a big fan of therapy. I attend therapy. Once I started going therapy route, I've never gone back, and I'm not gonna go back anytime soon. So for me, that's my 2 cents. But I do believe that the other people actually came in here because they wanted to speak with you regarding this topic and try and see how they can help you. So anybody?
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, before somebody answer. Okay, Madam speaking. Thank you very much. The one that you just highlighted, I must be a better person for me. I must change for me, not for the next person. Yeah, Lord, I think it's very much important that thing. It's a thing that I should do understand. And another thing I had an issue or get issues sleep baby mama Akane. I have a daughter, she's 36 years this year, September 17. I never had an access to my daughter. After my baby mama gave birth, we had a fight. We ended up like Kawahana. So Kawaning had, and I said to me, you know what, I don't want to near our daughter. You understand? So that thing young breaker, because I told myself, I felt like being present to my daughter, being a father to my daughter, taking responsibility for my action, it don't bring a solution, you understand? So holding your access to her, it torn me apart, because even now we are still in fight for our can I go there for one? When I go to give there for one, Kadi rules high. I understand. Or when I go Laula, I have to father my daughter according to what she wants, according to what she wants me to father our daughter. You understand? Because of the fight that we had. Now, and nobody is someone is too high, nobody is someone is Ganya high, or I'm a mundung, don't understand. I know what I put the issues that we had aside, and let me be a father to my daughter. You understand? So, I can't wait lowering in good stable way too much, and I go has to come to terms, and then I wonder how can we co-parent. You understand? And parallel parenting, you are now when it is so. I was asking you, no, let us co-parent. I just want to be a father to my daughter. I just want to be a father to my daughter, bond with my daughter, and then be a present father to my first. So, when I'm speaking, I'm saying, you know, play by rules, and the rules high. I did just because now when I go to whenever she wants to. When I go to phone once a week. Phone. If I phone, then I won't pick up a phone. She won't pick up, and I want any day or I should call. I should call Wednesday. Wednesday in phone some that's the text next to go phone alone. If I took on phone due to our link, that's the way phone that I can come and see your daughter. I can when I can take care out, and then I open the no, I must come and see her. They spend it 2 minutes later, then from there it takes my daughter. So like
you know what? I don't know if you were here last week. We had somebody like Moshe who was sharing his story as well regarding the frustrations of baby mamas who just want to control them and not want them to have access to the children. And we discussed in depth, you know, how when you co-parenting with a narcissist and just parenting issues in general, to say that the court is the way to go. You know, you should go to the children's court and say, listen, I want to have access to my child. And I had said that. In fact, it's not even me. It was people in the podcast who had said that, listen, especially those who are in the legal field, the only time that a baby mama should be so possessive of a child that they don't want to give you access is when you are a danger to the child. You understand what I mean? If they feel like when the child is with you, the child is in danger, then they can try and be very, very, you know, possessive of the child. But if it's just them using the child to fight their battles, no, you can't have that. You should be able to approach court. And I always say that you men have to use the same energy that we women use when we go to maintenance court, you know, because this whole thing of pride yaka, you know, I'm not gonna beg this person, it does not work. It does not work. I remember this video that was trending a couple of weeks ago where this grown man was saying that you should have ngabo unyonyobile, you know, and come to the school and show me, even if you came for 5 minutes during break, even if this woman did not want you to have a relationship with me. Literally, kids grow up and it doesn't make sense to them. Even though you can come to the child and say, listen, your mother didn't want me to have access to a child. It doesn't make sense because did you run out of all options to fight for your child? If there was still 1 or 2 chances, if there's a slot somewhere, somehow, excuse me, where you can fight for your child, you should be able to do that. You understand what I mean?
I understand you, mother.
So I think that's one of the topics that maybe you can just watch the previous live. I think we did it last week, Thursday. You can check it out on YouTube. It's there on the Losing in Love podcast. You will hear Moshe there and the legal advice which he was given on that day regarding the whole co-parenting thing. Like, listen, I said this, like, I'm starting to sound like a scratch CD. Men have the same equal rights to be parents to their children, just like us women. Just because you carried the baby for 9 months, you dilated 8 centimeter, pushed the baby out, it doesn't make you a better parent or more of a parent than the father. If a father wants to be present, the law is on your side. You have every right to be in your child's life. And if this person does not want to do things by the book, you take them to court. And the other day, there's somebody from the legal field who was even asking Moshe Hori, why don't you get this woman arrested? Because if anybody goes against the court order, which says you must give access to access of the child to this man, and they go against that, they can actually be detained and go to and sleep in a jail cell, you know. So men should be able to go to that extreme as well when they want to have access to their children, and you should be unapologetic about it.
Okay, no very much understand now.
Okay, my brother. Is there anybody else who would like to add something from the two issues that our brother here has?
Good evening, if you don't mind. Yes,
Hi, darling.
please.
Yes, of course you may.
Good evening, everybody, and to you, Madam Speaker.
Hi, darling.
I would like to think I'm the youngest here.
Okay.
I'm 22, but I quite very much enjoy such topics because they do help shed light in a lot of things. Now, I wanted to come to Mr. Rabi Suela, right? I think one thing that you have to realize is that you will never be able to love your partner right if you do not love yourself. You will never be able to be a man or a mother or a father if your inner child is not healed. That is the most saddest part about it. I am speaking like this because I have a very terrible background. A mother who abandoned me, a father who died a month after birth, a grandmother who passed away from cancer just when I was still a teenager. So coming from that background, I've learned to realize that I need to forgive myself. I cannot punish myself for things that were done by people before me, by my parents. I need to forgive my mother. I forgave my mother. I forgave that woman for my sake, for my peace. Because there were times where I questioned myself. I was born by her. I did not choose to be born by her. I did not choose this family. I did not choose this bloodline or lineage. What did I do? But then I came to a realization that she too comes from a traumatic background. She was only 17 when she had me. As much as she abandoned me and mistreated me, I had to also mature to learn to understand and see things from her own perspective view. She was a child when she had me. She was 17, having a child with a man who was 50-something years because of money, because of lifestyle. And that in turn ruined her. Perhaps whenever she saw me, she saw her regrets. She saw something that she regrets every time as a reminder. So we need to learn to also understand that there's a background story from our parents and the way that they are. And this is not a thing that is coming only for African people, for every race that there is. We've got an issue of generational trauma from one generation to another. You were raised by a father who was a narcissist, who was probably raised by a father and a mother who tolerated that behavior. He does not know how to act right because he was never born by people who acted right. Nobody taught him how to behave like a man, but they taught him how to play offense and defense. They never taught him to accept and understand his partner. They taught him that authority is better than maturity. Authority makes you a man over you being emotionally intelligent. That's what they taught him. So he is not wired in a way of knowing how to love you. Most of us, our parents love us, but because they do not know what love is, they are giving you the same method of love that they experienced from their parents, which is very sad because me being a fourth generation, somebody who was born in 2002, I came to a realization. That's when I realized that I have matured. When I now know how to look at somebody's pain and not only consider mine. That's when you mature, because you need to remember they too had a childhood. They were once kids. They were raped. They were emotionally abused. Things happened to them, but we tend to forget and say, because you're my parent, you're supposed to be perfect. I'm not advocating and saying how we are raised is the correct way, but we also need to know everybody has a trauma. Imagine you've lived with the trauma for 60 years as a parent. There was a lady here who said her aunt raised her after her mother went away. That is a woman who had to be strong on her own. She has had to gain masculine energy on her own. She masculinized herself so she knows how to stand her ground and take you through school and raise her kids. But at the same time, with being strong, I see in myself, I'm too strong, that my strength is my biggest weakness and my downfall. I do not know how to let people in because I have walls set up. I have raised myself. I have taught myself that I must protect me. I must be all about me. In a good sense, it has kept me disciplined. It is helping me go to school. It is keeping me grounded. But in the same way, it also affects my relationships with people. I do not know how to let a man close to me because I never really trusted men based on how I saw my aunt trying to pour hot water on her husband and him hitting her and doing all of that. I've seen that. But at the same time, I've come to a realization that, you know what? All people are not the same. And people are not perfect. If I am not willing to open myself up for change, how do I expect somebody else to change? So that's why I have chosen personally to be celibate. And if I'm going to date somebody, I'm going to date somebody I won't be sexually intimate with. And that is after I have really fully learned to love myself. You cannot do two things at the same time. You cannot be in a relationship and try to heal and love yourself. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So I would advise, if it is just a relationship, if you explain to your partner your trauma and what you're going through and let them know you are not fit mentally, emotionally, physically, you are not fit to be in a relationship. Because you need to first love yourself. You need to first heal yourself. And when you take that time, that's when you start to love yourself. And by the time you are able and you've forgiven yourself, you have healed your inner child, and you love your partner. Even if your partner cheats on you, you will not turn around and say all women are the same.
Yeah.
Because you have healed and grown beyond the point of putting everybody under the same umbrella. So I would say to you, Robbie, take your time. It's never too late to heal and to love yourself. People will always say, but you're grown, you're over 40, you're this. No, I might be grown, but the child in me is still crying. The child in me needs to be healed. I need to feel my father's embrace. Forgive your father. Love your father. Because once your father passes on, you will never find him again. You will never see him again. No matter what happened to the people that you love, that is love. Love goes beyond you saying, you hurt me. I realize that because everybody I love is not present physically in this world. I can never see them again. So taking it from a person who cannot see the people that she loves every day, love the people you are with. Forgive them, even if they've done you wrong. My aunt threw me out of her house, accusing me of sleeping with her husband. I tried to commit suicide. I've been through a lot. I worked as a maid. I slept in the streets. But still, I forgave them. I still talk to them, but I still keep them afar. So it takes you to realize that everybody has a story. I felt bad for what my aunt did to me, but that woman gave me a roof for a year when nobody would. And I should appreciate that. Just because of that, it still makes me respect her. No matter what she did or treated me as a maid, the fact that she took my hand when I had no roof. It goes the same with my uncle's wife. She let me in when nobody could take me in. Even if she's a bad person, I still stand and say I respect her because she took me in when nobody else could. Those are the things we need to remember. It's don't let the bad overshadow what good moments you've had with these people and what they've done. That's what I can say to you, honestly. That's all I have to say, and thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Babe, thank you so much. You know what? And also, you know, you seem like somebody who has lived for 100 years and then you came back to life now. Now you're pouring all the wisdom into us. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I believe, or even though Robbie has been kicked out, he's heard everything that you've been saying. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much, babe.
Can I also add on her, please, Madam Speaker?
Yes, of course.
Okay, my story is similar to her. That's why I'm going in now. My sister, you are very strong. It took me a lifetime to realize that I need to forgive myself, to forgive other people so that I can move on in my life. I was raised by my own mother, but there were times that I thought that I wish she was dead. I wish she would just be not alive at all so that I can have peace. The reason why I had those thoughts in my mind is because of she never took care of me. We are 5. I'm the second born at home. I got pregnant when I was 18. And the reason of me getting pregnant by then, it was because life was not good. Life was tough. They were both not working, my mom and my dad. Things were hectic. We will sleep without eating. And for me saying that I didn't know how to look better, I thought looking better on other people will make me live. And that's how I fell pregnant. And then after some time, I got a job when I was 19. I started looking after them. And before that, as Balisa said, that some things is just because of they happened in the past, and then we are growing up with it, and then we overlook of it. When I grew up, I used to have a problem at school. And I'll come back and say to my mom, you know, I've got a problem. I can't read. I don't know what's happening, but I can't read. I am struggling. And my mom thought I was faking it. She would beat me. She would lock me in the house. And then she would like ground me from playing and all those sort of things. So when time goes on, let me cut it in short and get to the point. My mom, when I grew up, we used to stay on the same street but across. I used to take care of my mom, my siblings, everybody in the house. But they would never appreciate what I was doing for them. Into the stage that my mom will tell my sister when she's working that please don't buy anything. She must buy. So I will buy everything from food and everything. My sister used to save only. When I pass with grocery, they want to dig in my grocery and see what is inside. And then I came into the stage that I was fed up about that. Why should they dig into my stuff? And my mother took out the word to my sister saying, don't worry, my child. You will also get a boyfriend. Your boyfriend will do better than what her boyfriend does to her. Those were my mother's words. And then I left. Second time it happened, I just took my bags and then I went. And then my mom followed me. So abuse sometimes it's come from home. My mom followed me to my boyfriend's place. My mom hit me in front of my boyfriend. And then when I said, what did I do wrong? She never said. For me to hear from our neighbor saying that my sister said something that I didn't say, that made my mom upset. So when I asked what was it, no one told me. Okay, fine. And then I said to her, it's okay. My God will answer for me. And you know what came out of my mom? She says, if I like, I will pray so that you die. The same God that you are calling right now is the God that I made you alive so that you know God. And then as my boyfriend seeing my mother hitting me and then treating me the way she is, he thought that he has authority as well.
Exactly.
And then he started mistreating me as well. He started hitting me. I started having rough life. And then I told myself that I'm not going back home. But for me to say that I'm not going back home, what would I do on this situation? I went and rent my own place. I stayed there. He came back. He begged me. Stupid. I went back. I stayed with him. And then as I stayed with him, the abuse carried on. Both sides. From my mother's side, I left my son with my mom. My mom, I will buy grocery. I will buy everything. On the weekend, they will pack my child's stuff and bring it to my place and say to me, you have to wash your own child's stuff. And you don't have a girl. And then my boyfriend started hitting me and abusing me. And then I started weighing him. I started weighing him as he's hitting me. I started weighing his powers. One day I hitted him back. I did the same thing that he's doing. I went outside. I broke his arm. I took him to the hospital after that. And then after that, he came back. He apologized. We stayed together. And then the worst part of this thing is that as I was staying with him, his mother thought I was abusing him after I started hitting back. Because when he was hitting me, no one saw it because I was keeping it to myself. No one will hear my voice out. I was keeping it to myself. So now when I started fighting back for myself, they thought that I was abusing him, which is I wasn't. I was now starting to fight for myself. The life goes on. We got married.
Yo, my sister, after you broke each other's arms, you got married.
He came back, I left, he came back, he apologized, and I thought life was good. He apologized. He started cheating. Cheating with his ex from home. When I started asking, he would tell me that it's none of your business. You're going through my phone, you're doing this. But I'm like, you have no business to do with your ex and everything. So you're saying that you're a friend with your ex. So can I be a friend with my ex? He says no. So he started doing the same things now. And then I was like, you see now I've got a girl child that I don't want my child to grow up seeing this abuse that you're doing to me, that my child will think that when someone abuses me, I have to stay in that marriage. So it's either you change your life or I pack my stuff and go. Life didn't change, Madam Speaker. I thought things will change. People, when they're not ready to change, they will not. I still stayed in the same relationship. We got married. I thought life was good. I applied for a house. We got a house. We stayed. And when we moved into the house, I said to him, you know, when we're moving into that house, I don't want a drama. Those people, they don't know us. I want a peaceful life. If you know that you're going to live this life, it's better for you to stay back and then I move on with my life. We go stay there with my kids. He says, no, I'm not going to do that. Last year, he did the same thing. He started hitting me again. And he will go out and drink, and then he's a friend with my sister's friend. When he does that to me, that guy does the same thing to my sister as well on the other side. So whatever that they were discussing there, we don't know it. But you will come across of saying that, no, you don't want to hear anyone else. If you want to be treated like a child, I will treat you like a child. What did I do for you to treat me like a child? He doesn't have answers. And then his mother thought that I was abusing him all alone until this year, when I picked up the phone and said, you know what, I'm not abusing this person, I'm not abusing him. And for me, I am saying right now, because of he saying that I'm abusing him, I want him to pack his stuff and go. I don't want to see him again. I want him to move out. I'm the one who's paying for a house, and I'm happy to continue. I'm happy to stay with my kids. I just want him to go. He came back. It was in December. He took his stuff. He went to his mother. He came back to me. I don't know what his mother told him. He came back home. Since then, he knows how to buy grocery. I just left him. I was quiet. There was nothing. He started saying that I'm punishing by not sleeping with him. I'm like, I'm not interested on it at all. I'm not. So life is tough. Some things that our parents are also in fault. But we need to forgive them in willing of forgiving us. You know, forgiving my mother. I went to see my mom 2 days ago. I cried when I saw my mom into the state that she is in. She didn't have food. She didn't have anything. I still send my mom money every month, even though she does that to me. I've never stopped since I went with everything that she does to me. I've never stopped. I will send her money every month. But for her to see me as a child, it doesn't change it. I've yelled for love, Madam Speaker. I've yelled for love that each and every person that I see who's starting to be closer to me, I get blind when they don't love me, and I start doing things for them, and then they end up hitting me at the back. So that's how life is been. Life is very tough, and just said, as I said to my sister, she's very strong, and I wish I was like her, who can forgive that easily. Even today, I can't. It's not easy for me.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to mute Love Deria and I'm failing. Babe, what I'm about to do to you now, please forgive me. It is not intentional. I really apologize because I've been trying to mute you. I could hear you in the background. Dimakato, my darling, with your current situation, babe, I wish you all the best. You know, I'm not a person. I know a lot of people always accuse me of influencing women or being a bad influence to women and misleading them to leave their relationships. But with my mouth, this one that God gave me, I will never say to anybody, leave that relationship. All I can do is to make you see reason, and then you make your own, informed decision on what you want to do with your situation. But one thing I can tell you, chances of your relationship or your setup ending up being fatal, they're very, very high. It's either you are going to die or this man is going to die, and one of you guys is going to prison. That's where it's going to end. I can guarantee you that much. And the reason why I'm saying that without any fear of contradiction or anything like that is because you have been living this life back and forth for a long time. There is no way anything else is going to change. So what I would love for you to do for yourself as an exercise is to look at yourself in the next 10 years. Be realistic with yourself based on the number of years. Like, I understand the issue of parents and how it relates with the issue of Daisy, and like what Daisy was saying, that all of us have got, we all have stories, we all have traumas, we all have things that we need to heal from. Even our parents have the same thing. But now we're talking about your current situation. You're raising a girl child. You are in that situation right now. If you look at the past, let's say maybe for argument's sake, you've been with this man for the past 10 years. I want you to check the patterns of how things have been for the past 10 years. Because remember, another thing is that in a relationship that is abusive, nobody wakes up in the morning and they decide that today I'm going to kill you. No, that's not how it starts. It starts with you abusing each other. One day, you go and you hit one vein, and then it's chai. Somebody's going to the grave, somebody's going to prison. So if you were to be realistic with yourself and you do this little exercise, you call it a reality check, you call it whatever you want to call it, to say, okay, how do I see myself? Because I literally feel like when you're in a situation where you can see there's no change, it's just back and forth of you guys being toxic and abusive towards one another, what you do is, it's like you lock your brain. You lock your brain because you don't want to think about the future. You don't want to think about anything else, because once you have to apply your brain in that sense, you know that it's not going to end well. The reality does not look good for you. So you would rather not think future. You would rather think now. Okay, I can see him today, he has changed today, but I know after a month he's going to go back to his normal self. But if you check the history of your relationship with this man and how you've been going up and down with the toxicity and everything that has been happening, I can tell you now it's going to end in one person being in a grave and one person being behind bars, or just the two of you in a grave. You guys are going to rest in peace together. So I really want you to make an exercise of you being realistic about your life and think about 10 years down the line, where do you see yourself with this person? And be realistic. When nobody's watching, nobody's listening, be realistic with yourself, and do that as an exercise. Then maybe that will unlock that thing in you which you feel like, what, I need that thing, Yagore. I need to be strong to make a decision that I know that it's going to save me and also protect my child. Because you working on your relationship with your mother is one thing, but depending on how old your child is, I can tell you now, kids pick up. Kids store information, and they store the things that are happening around them. And by the time you wake up, it's going to be the same situation as the situation where my brother who has left, I can't remember his name, I think his other name is Sowela, where he was saying that he was raised by a father who was a narcissist, and now subconsciously he's also become a narcissist without him being aware or without him wanting to be that. So you might end up having to raise your child, and when you wake up, you realize that you're the same person that your mother was towards your child because of what you're exposing your child to. So if you really want to be that that person that makes a change and you want something different for yourself, you're gonna have to be like naked in front of yourself, looking at the mirror and say, this is the reality of my life, and this is what I'm planning on doing going forward to make sure that history does not repeat itself. You get what I mean?
That's true, because what you're saying, Madam Speaker, just to add on that, I've got an 18-year-old boy, my child that I had when I was 18. That child, him and his, I took his another child. He made another person pregnant. At the same time that he pregnanted me. So I took that child in,
Yeah.
so they are both.
Oh,
I
wait.
call them
Oh,
that they are
my
my
sister.
twins.
Oh, Patko, wait. Uri, whose child are you raising?
Another person's child. I am raising another woman's child.
The child
Under my roof.
that your husband made.
Yes.
Because you don't when you don't have a womb to carry children, you went and made a baby. Then when you took that baby and you are staying with that baby.
I took that child
Oh,
in.
okay.
That's why I'm saying that my problem is just too much. So I took that child in, and then both of them the other time when he was hitting me, they locked the butler and says that if he comes back, we're gonna kill him.
Sure. Do you see what you're
And I
exposing
was
your
saying
kids
to
to?
them, please don't do that. And then they're like, no, every time he hits you, he packs his stuff, he goes and then he comes back. He does that, he's in and out all the time. Now it's on us to take a decision. If he comes back, we will be the one who's hitting him now.
Mama, do you see the history that is repeating itself here? Do you understand that in as much as you're a victim, you are also a culprit because you're exposing your children to the same type of toxicity that you were exposed to when you were growing up? So you're actually not solving the problem. You are actually part of the problem. Are you aware of that?
I agree. Since I started listening to this, I say that listening to you has opened my mind in a way that I cannot explain it. But if I found you many years back, I was gonna be far in life.
No, it's never too late, babes. It's never too late, my darling.
Right now he is so I don't know his innocence. I just don't know what to do. At this moment, there's no way of me saying that I can say this. He is so good that I don't have anything on him at this moment.
Okay.
Sorry, do you mind if I add something, if you don't mind?
You may, madam.
No, it's okay.
I think right there, that's when you need to know you are dealing with a master manipulator. That man is honing you. He is literally turning you into what he wants. That is what he's doing. He is breaking you and giving you bits of pieces of happiness that he knows you yearn for. He knows you yearn to be loved. So he will be abusive. He will mistreat you and then come back and say, I am very sorry, my darling. I will change. He will change for a certain period of time because he wants to keep you, because he cannot bear living without you and bear you being with somebody else. That is a very dangerous human being you are dealing with. And it has been ongoing for a very long time.
It's a long time, my sister. It's 15 years.
Yes, and unfortunately, you have a trauma bond to this man, being that he was your hideaway and your safe place and one of the first people who you felt loved you when your mother rejected you. It makes it even harder for you to get the courage to want to get up and leave. That is where the issue is. Your trauma bonding with this man. Because remember, your trauma bonds, they turn out to look like your greatest relationships because it is the first drop of love you are receiving. You don't know how to differentiate between toxic love and real love. Real love does not hurt you and does not hinder you from being happy. It does not want to control you, but rather it wants to protect you and nurture you and nourish you. However, toxic love wants you to know you are mine. It wants to take ownership of you. It wants to break you. It wants you not to be able to live without it. And that is who you are dealing with. He is manipulating you to stay because he knows if he shows you a little bit of love, a quarter of love, you will stay. Because I'm sorry to use this comparison. It's like a dog when it sees a treat. When you dangle a treat over a dog, the dog forgets, it loses all of its memory and all of its concentration. It focuses on the treat. It becomes happy and very docile. He is doing the same thing with you. He is giving you a tiny drop of love so that you feel, oh, this man can actually change. You can never change anybody in this life. That is one thing you must know. The person will only change because they are ready to change and accept the truth about themselves. One thing is that we attract people who mirror ourselves. You attract traumatic men because you have trauma. That is why all of your relationships, you attract the same person in different people because that's the type of love you know. If a man doesn't hit you, you don't feel like he's a man. If a man doesn't shout at you, you don't feel like he's a man. If a man doesn't cheat, you feel like he's a fool. You understand? Because you are so used to traumatic experiences, you date the same person in different bodies. And that's because that's the trauma you have known as love. Unfortunately, it takes a lot for us to get up from that cycle and say, I have to stop. You have to tell yourself you have to stop because remember, the very same way you were harnessed into the state that you are, your sons are watching their father and they're watching their mother, even if the other boy is not yours, but he is yours because he sees you as a mother. You raised him as well. He is watching you. He's watching your suffering. He will hate a part of himself, which is his father. He will hate a part of himself. And the moment he hates his own father, he hates himself somehow. And a piece of himself is going to hate himself. And he's going to feel, I would treat women the same way my father did. And that's where it starts to break down his true masculine. He starts to build up walls and starts to be a man who's like his father. On the other hand, your daughter will be either like you or she will completely shut down emotionally and never want to see men. It's two ways and they're both very toxic ways. So in this situation, you are not getting out with anything positive from your kids to yourself. It is breaking everybody. Unfortunately, this is how traumas start. Your son is 18 years of his life. He's been watching you with your husband. He's been watching both of his parents being toxic to each other. Kids pick up a lot. We do pick up a lot, even if we don't speak, we do. You understand? So now this girl already has an idea of what an abusive man is at a very young age, which is something she is not supposed to have experienced. You see? So at this point in time, the truth is, forget doing this for yourself, but do it for your children. Even if you don't feel like you want to do it for yourself, do it for your kids. Take the best decision for your kids. Save your kids from this trauma. Save them. That's what I can tell you, because it will not only stop with them, they will also pass it on to their kids.
Sure.
That is how we got here. From my grandmother who was 86 to my mother who's 36 to me who's 22. This is how you continuously pass on generational trauma. So you need to sit down and really think to yourself if you want to live like this for the rest of your life.
Sure.
Thank you for the words, my sister.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daisy. I really appreciate you. Guys, my parental duties have to start now. I don't know if maybe we can quickly wrap up with the two people that have not spoken. Maybe you can say a few words and then we wrap it up.
Hello, Madam Speaker.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you, darling?
I'm very good. I'd like to touch a little bit on Dimakazo's issue. I want to tell her that for me to get out of a nice relationship, I had to go for fasting, like 40 days of fasting. I had to help myself out Because with the issue of a narcissist, it's a very spiritual thing. People who attract narcissists are unhealed empaths. Unhealed empaths are the light of the world. The reason why that man is beating you up is because he knows the power that you carry as a woman. So you are very powerful woman. So it's a very spiritual thing when we take it from a higher perspective. I was also an unhealed empath, but I did the work. I had to do the work to heal myself so that I do not attract the next narcissist. I've been in a long-term relationship with 2 narcissists, and I had to stop and ask myself, why am I attracting the same person in different body? So I had to help myself. Dimakato, you really have to fight, because it's not only the physical fight, but it's also a spiritual fight. Because that is what Desi is saying, that you are reflecting back yourself. So your partner, it's you. So he's showing you what you're carrying. So those are your wounds. You must make sure that you heal those wounds. It comes from way back. It comes from generational. If your mother treats you like the way she treated you, most people who have mother wounds are very powerful women. Once you heal your mother wound, I'm telling you, nothing can stop you from achieving whatever you want to do. So, in a very short way, I just want to give that advice. I wanted to tell my story, but Madam Speaker is saying that she has parental duties. So that's what I wanted to say mostly to Dimaka. So listening to her story, it really breaks my heart. Once you realize her power, my sister, fight, do whatever you can, go for fasting, do whatever you can. I myself went for 40 days of fasting. I was crying. My heart was breaking for myself. That is when, after I realized how much power I carry as a woman. So you have to forgive your mother. You have to forgive everything. And mostly you might find that you are the one whom God chose to break the generational curses in your family. It must end with you. Once you realize that this thing is there in your family, it must end with you. So that's what I would like to say to Dimakato.
Thank you so much,
My sister,
Murandeni.
very sad story. You are not the first person who's telling me something like this. You are actually the 3rd person who's telling me something like this. And as you are saying that it is something like, when you sit with my mom will tell you that she was kicked out when she was young. She had us when she was in the street. No one is. Even now, when I can take the phone now and call my grandmother, and my mom hears that I call my grandmother, she gets very upset. We're not allowed to get in touch with them.
Forgive her. Let her go. Let it go. You have to let that thing go. You have to forgive her. For you to heal, you will never go anywhere until you heal the wound that you have with your mother. If I can tell you what my mom did to me, but I had to forgive. I had to forgive her from the depth of my heart. I had to forgive her and let her go and stop complaining, and start looking at myself and the power that I carry. So you really have to let it go. You have to sit down with yourself, sit down with your wounds and look at them. Some of the wounds you might find that they come from your mother's womb. When you're still in your mother's womb, you carry those wounds. Sometimes you have to sit down with the wounds. You don't have to run away by going to a man, because that man is still going to abuse you because you are running away from something. And he's going to suck the life out of you. He's going to suck your money. He's going to suck everything that you have. He's going to suck your light because you're giving it to him for free. That's why you're saying, I'm paying the house. It's not spiritual correct for a woman to support a man or paying bonds and houses and what. No.
Oh, man. Murandeni, I really apologize that you're not going to be able to share your story today. Guys, I've been left with kids unsupervised. Imagine the whole me alone with children. So I really have to apologize that I have to cut you short. I can see that in the comment sections they're saying that other people must come in. But unfortunately for tonight, we cannot allow more people to come in. I don't know if maybe Ria has anything to say in closing. I really appreciate you, Morendeni, and what you've shared. And I think when you spoke about spirituality and fasting and praying, that's one element that I think we had totally forgotten about, to say in everything that you do, also invite God. If you believe in God or whatever it is that you believe in, invite that, you in as much as we're healing emotionally, but they go hand in hand with your spirituality. So one cannot flourish without the other. Ria?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good, how are you, honey?
So share a story in my adoption journey, which includes rape and abortion, but because time is not on our side, I just want to add on to Dimakato's story.
Okay.
And I want to generalize it. For as much as we can have a conversation about how women deal with narcissist men, I believe for us to change everything, it is when we as women work away from them. Because for as much as we can say, I'm doing this because of the kids, at the end of the day, you're affecting the kids. Mentally, spiritually, some kids might also be a danger to other kids. For instance, with Dimakato's story, she's saying that she's dealing with an abusive man, and she's still staying, and the kids are now introduced to that environment where my dad hates my mom. So for them, sometimes it might be normal that, okay, so if a woman does something that is wrong, I need to beat her. And now this child will meet another kid, which means that everything will now continue. Like the very same thing that happened in his background will now move to another child's house. So I believe for us to change everything, it is for us as women to change and walk away from this man. Because for as much as you can say you're staying for kids, at the end of the day, it is also affecting you. You can say I'm benefiting from this man because he gives me money, he bought me a car, he did all of those things. Why? Because he beating you, he's cheating on you. Nothing is coming from him, genuinely so. It is him paying you to stay. And remember, some men do this intentionally. He did it once, you didn't walk away. Twice, you didn't walk away. And for the third time, he knows, okay, this person won't walk away. So he's now my toy. I will do whatever that I want because I know he won't walk away. The minute you show a man that I won't walk away, I can't live without you, that's when he makes you his toy.
Oh, man. I hope Dimakato has been having a notebook out and writing down the things that people are sharing with her today, because I feel like, listen, this is some free information that we should be paying for. Thank you so much, Ria, for sharing your input. I really appreciate you. And everybody else, I see there's like 8 people who are requesting to join the live. I really apologize that, guys, we're not going to be able to continue for tonight. But I just want to send a big shout out to everybody that's been engaging in the comment sections and those who have joined the panel and shared a thing or two. And also maybe Ufenze will come in tomorrow, because I'll try and go live tomorrow when I'm free, so that we can continue. But I don't want to commit, because I know once I commit to a time, nobody shows up and then I'm sitting here on the live alone. So whenever I go live and people come through, we will talk and continue with the topics of today. But for tonight, I just want to end it here. But I don't want to end it without Nji just mentioning that I wish everybody the best. Like, if you're going through something, guys, I wish you all the best. And I wish you nothing but healing. And I wish you time for you to sit by yourself and just, find yourself again, More than anything, I love you with the love of God, and I wish you all the best. God bless you and good night.
Thank you so much. Good
Thank you,
night.
darling. All right. And you people on the YouTubes, all 50 of you are watching, but 19 have liked. Yes, you don't like me. But anyway, I even forgot to do the intro. So yeah, I apologize for that. But this was Losing in Love podcast with Madam Speaker. I'll see you on the next one. I think we'll go live tomorrow. I love you. God bless you and good night. Mwah.